Hi, Michelle.
Hello.
How's it going?
It's good. We got to pretend we haven't been talking for the last 2 hours, but yeah.
Exactly. No, we haven't. We've literally just come on with each other. Yeah.
Mm.
So, yeah. So there's a new sci-fi show out called Beacon 23, and we thought that's also based on a book by Hugh Howey, who did Silo, which we liked a lot. I think we
Yeah.
liked that a lot. But I haven't read this story.
No, I
I,
haven't read
I
this
don't.
one.
I don't know anything about it. So there's 2 episodes out already, so we can sort of cover the first 2 episodes, and then we'll see how we get on
Yeah.
the next few weeks. Apparently, there's 8 episodes in this series, and it's already been renewed for a second. I read.
Yeah. Well, it's quite. I mean, Hugo Howey knows how
Hugh
to write
Harry,
a good
yeah.
thriller. How?
Hugh
What?
Harry, yeah.
Who?
Hugh, Hugh
Hugh
Harry,
Howey. Hugh Howey.
Hugh
Yeah,
Harry.
that guy. So he
He
knows
does.
how to write a good thriller. So, it's about this guy who's on a sort of space beacon, which is
Space lighthouse thing, isn't
yeah,
it?
lighthouse, yeah, out in the middle of fucking nowhere, and
Doesn't make a lot of sense right from the get go because it actually has got like a light beam.
yeah, I don't know how effective that would be in space, but I mean, maybe
Yeah,
there's more to it. But they did kind of mention a few interesting things, like he's in an area where there's dark matter,
yeah.
so I think this is why the lighthouse is there,
Yeah, so it's there to
rather than like rocks and sea and
warn
shit.
people of dark matter, yeah, which we don't know a lot about dark matter in real
No,
life.
it's all about
Apart from it can makes up 99% of the universe, but we can't
oh,
see it, and it doesn't interact with matter. So why he would be like, steer clear, look out, there's dark matter. Um, is kind of like doesn't explain that. Hopefully that'll come later.
any physicists out there who know what the fuck dark matter is,
Yeah.
let us know.
Well, that supposedly just doesn't interact with regular matter. So I'm not quite sure what the mechanism of why a ship flying into it would cause damage. But then maybe it's to do with their propulsion drives or something. It didn't explain it. That was basically almost the first scene. Is you've got this
Because it's
beacon.
not antimatter, is it?
No, it's just something else that we don't know what it is.
Yeah.
But like the first scene, you have this. It's a spaceship on the way to somewhere,
The
and there's
crest.
the crest, and there's a beacon. There's Beacon 23, and it's got this lighthouse thing, and it's like you want to stop, you want to change course because there's too much dark matter, right? And so the guy who calls himself Solomon, we'll find out more about that later. He's like, you need to change course, but for some reason the beacon isn't working properly, and the beacon
Yeah, all
keeps
the
saying,
computer systems are like stopping him from communicating
yeah. So
of the danger to
he's trying to
the
tell them
ship. Yeah.
danger, but the beacon is saying everything's okay. So this ship, you just kind of like he's trying his best to try and let them know properly using a crowbar. Use a crowbar, some bit of a machine to get it to work. It doesn't work. And then you see the ship just go doof and explode sort of straight away. And he's like, oh fuck. And that's the first scene, I think, of the show. And you're like, oh well,
Yeah.
he's a shit housekeeper, and that's
Yeah.
a shit lighthouse, sort of thing.
Like
So
I did kind of wonder why the computer wasn't working.
yeah, so straight away you're like,
Yeah.
why isn't it working? Um, but then there's a life sign. There's like an escape pod or something, and he manages to sort of bring that in. Not quite sure how. Not like a tractor beam or anything. There's nothing like that. But he gets this woman in, and it's Lena Headey from Game of Thrones, who I really
She's
like.
looking good.
She's looking very good, yeah. And
I really
you
like
think,
her jawline. She's got a
really,
fantastic jawline.
she's a cool actress. I think she's been in loads
Yeah.
of great
I
things.
always remembered her from Dread.
Dread, yeah, she was good in that.
She
She's
was a
the
baddie in that.
mama or something like that. She was a fucking nutcase. I like her in everything. I think she's really, really
Yeah,
good.
she's a great actress.
Quite,
Yeah.
quite, surprised to see her in it. Hopefully a good role for her. She's called Asta Calix.
Yeah.
Um,
Well, I actually thought I looked up the guy who plays Solomon, We found out his real name later, but he sounds exactly like the guy who does. Oh God, what's his name from ME3, Mass Effect 3?
Oh,
Is it Jonah? Jonah or Joshua or something like that?
don't know.
But it's
Can't
a
remember
different
his
guy,
name.
but they must come from the same sort of place because they've got exactly the same voice. Um,
Oh, maybe it is him. Maybe he's a voice actor as well.
yeah, maybe.
I don't know.
No, it's a different actor, definitely.
But,
I looked it up, but
so,
yeah.
yeah, so he basically opens up the pod. She's a bit cryo sleepy or whatever. Not even cryo sleep. I don't really know. I think it's just an escape pod, isn't it, or something?
Mm.
Well, I don't know. It's not quite clear actually if she was sort of in that pod as the ship was on its way, or whether she got into it just before it crashed.
I
Doesn't
would
really
imagine she would have
explain.
been put in the pod for the travel
Maybe.
to get wherever because it didn't seem like a particularly fast ship.
Yeah. I don't know. It's weird because like, why did she survive? And she was clearly quite trying to get there anyway.
Yeah,
But there's some unanswered questions straight away
yeah.
why she survives. But she's all a bit disorientated, and apparently one of the side effects of cryo sleep, whatever it was, is deja vu, which I thought was quite interesting. So she's
Yeah.
kind of like, I've been here before, and she's like, no, it's just deja vu. It gives you deja vu. I thought that was quite interesting. Um, so she kind of comes around pretty quickly. He makes her dinner. They're sort of getting on all right. Sort of, it's just him on this ship, on this beacon. And she says, "Oh no, I was coming here," because he thinks she's just part of the crew, and she's like, "Oh no, this is where I was supposed to be going." Even that's like weird because I don't think the ship was actually going there.
No, it just seemed like it
Main
was going to
ship,
shoot straight past. Yeah.
but she says, "No, I was coming specifically here," and he's like getting all suspicious. Then she's like, "Yeah, I'm here about your report about the rock samples," and he's like, "What report?" She's like, "The report you sent," and he's like, "Oh yeah." So straight away you're like, "Well, there's something up with him as well."
Yeah, yeah. You notice that, and I think, well, you sort of think, well, maybe because he's on his own in a lighthouse,
Mm,
he's a little bit mental because
yeah.
the solitude and all the rest of it. But we find out later why he's acting
Mm,
very strangely because he's having outbursts of anger and rage, isn't he? Sort of like more than normal people, and
yeah.
he's very sort of non-committal about what he's saying, and you know
Yeah. Exactly. So he sort of becomes quite hostile straight away when she says, "Yeah, I'm here because of these rock samples that you sent a report about," and he's like, "Well, you can't have them," and he gets quite arsy with her straight away, and she's like, "Oh, what's that all about?" Um, so
yeah, they kind of have a
yeah,
confrontation straight away.
yeah,
And she says to him, she asks his permission to take her bag because she sort of understands that it's very well acted. Understands that this guy's obviously not a full ticket,
yeah,
and sort of placates him by asking his permission to take her bag.
yeah. She didn't come. She wasn't. Thankfully, sort of like, I'm just going to beat this guy up and do what I fucking want. She's kind of like she's a bit scared of him. I think like because
Well,
he
she
obviously
can see he's
seems,
not acting normally, and
yeah,
and then maybe she's thinking because it's isolation and stuff like does make you
yeah,
a little bit mental.
yeah.
So
So she sort of acts a bit more like someone would in real life. You'd just be like, okay, well, she's a bit sort of tentative, which is how you would act if you
of course, yeah,
front of
if you
someone
meet
who's
someone
a bit
who's like
crazy.
hostile for sort of ridiculous reasons, or
Yeah.
yeah,
So there's an AI built into the beacon which is acting weird that he says. But basically, they sort of like he sort of says, "I've got work to do," and leaves her alone for a bit. So she starts sort of investigating the station, wandering around, and he's sort of following her about. Um,
he's got all his buttons labelled, which is a little bit weird as
yeah,
well.
but she starts investigating and starts going through the files or something, and finds this video. It's a video of some guy coming to the beacon with a load of samples, rock samples, and it's not this guy at all. It's some white dude, older white dude, but the thing says Solomon, and it's like, well, he's obviously the lighthouse keeper. So who the fuck is this dude?
Yeah, yeah.
You know what I mean? So she's like, who the fuck is going on? And they have another fight. They have a confrontation because he's like, what are you looking at? Um, what happens then? Oh yeah, he locks her up, doesn't he? He
Mm.
locks her up for a bit, but she's got her own personal artificial intelligence, which is pretty smart, called Harmony or something like that. And I think does the AI sort of help her escape, and they end up trapping him? Yeah,
Yeah, well,
that's what happens. They
it's.
trick him in there, don't they?
I think her AI wasn't powered up,
Yeah,
and
properly.
she needed some time. But when you see her again, they're out of there, and Solomon turns up, and Harmony's walking about as a human being, and he follows her in, and she's just a construct, and
Yeah,
they
yeah.
trap him in the airlock. Yeah,
So now
because
he's in
there's
the
obviously
fucking airlock.
he is obviously a little bit unpredictable and mental. So yeah,
Yeah. So she's like, I'm going to keep you in here because there's an extraction team to come and get me or something en route. That's not really explained either.
mm.
And they're going to be like 35 hours away or something. So we're going to lock you up until then.
Yeah.
But
She
he,
says at
yeah,
first that she's from a particular company, but it turns out later she's not.
yeah,
And this is one of the recurring themes with her character, is that she gives herself a backstory for this particular situation.
yeah,
She
but
does it
it's not
3
true.
times. She says to him that she's a geologist for this particular company, and they've got like a 30-hour extraction. She does actually work for a particular company, but that's a
It's not,
different
it's
one.
not clear. Yeah, it's
Yeah,
not particularly clear, but she's basically kind of keeping her cards pretty close to her chest. Well, I mean, she says she's here for these rock samples, which she looks like she is, but it doesn't
yeah.
sort of explain why or anything. Um, so
She's doing
he's
a
up
nice Yorkshire accent as well, I
to
noticed.
Yorkshire. I know it was a strange, it was an interesting accent. I couldn't
Yeah,
quite place
I
it.
don't
Is it
think it's
York?
full Yorkshire, but
Not
it's.
full
I
Yorkshire.
think that's what she's plumbing for.
Oh,
Uh, yeah.
well, she did well.
Um, Lena, Lena Headley,
Heady, Heady,
Heady,
Heady, Heady. I don't know.
Heady, as her father is Yorkshire.
Oh, really?
Yeah,
Well,
she
that's
grew
good.
up in the Bahamas, but she came over to England when she was young.
Oh,
I looked it up
oh,
because I thought,
really?
yeah, because I thought maybe she got the accent, the Yorkshire accent, from working all of that, Game of Thrones stuff, because they fall into the northern, Leeds, Yorkshire
Yeah.
accent on that show, and I thought, well, maybe she fancied doing it, but no. Then I looked, and I found that her dad was
It's built
is
into her.
a Yorkshire man,
Yeah.
and
Bigging
she's
up Yorkshire
uh,
representation.
as an actress is using that as part of her new job. Yeah, so.
Space Yorkshire woman.
But it kind of
So,
goes with the
no,
geological sort of, because like Yorkshire and Leeds and all them places are like steel mills and you know uh, you know mines and shit like that. So
space women.
yeah, yeah,
Yeah. I'm
good,
going with
good.
it.
Yeah, she does a good job. I think.
She
I don't
does.
think Yorkshire people would go with it, but I'm buying it as a
Yeah.
non-Yorkshire person.
Cool. I'm
Yeah.
glad you identified it because I wasn't quite sure. I thought, at least you didn't put on some fake American accent. There's too many American people in space.
Fucking yeah.
Yeah. Anyway, so poor old, we find out that this guy isn't called Solomon.
Mm.
He's called Halen or Halen. Fuck's sake, I
Halen,
can't even
I
remember now.
think.
Halen, let's say. And he starts freaking out. Yeah. Well, it's in the airlock, and it turns out he's got PTSD, but they've got pills for that now.
Farmer.
Apparently, farmer. What?
Because I noticed in Silo they actually use drug names. So maybe Huey, Hugh
You?
Howie. I want to call him Hugo. Huey, he made a
Hugh.
mistake in Silo because we know pharmacy because we've worked in it, and I noticed that they use the drugs um, in a weird way in Silo. Like they would need a pharmaceutical manufacturing
Yeah,
facility
we
to
did
actually
talk about
have
that, I
these
think, didn't
drugs.
we?
Yeah, we
But
talked about
these
that.
things are like printed out, aren't they? They just
Yeah,
print
you don't
everything.
even need to know the name of it. You just need to go, yeah, I want something for pain killing. I want
Yeah,
something for, to calming somebody down. And they just print a patch out.
yeah.
So he's learnt his lesson there because now
Chat
we can't,
GPT, sort me out, please.
yeah,
Yeah, I'll print you
we
something.
can't have a go at him now for his pharmaceutical
No,
problems. And
that's no, that's fine. Yeah, technology's moved on
y-
clearly.
yeah,
But he takes this pill, or it's like a patch or something. I don't know. It's a pill or something.
yeah, there's
Um,
quite good effects, I thought, in this actually.
it's not
Yeah,
too bad, I think. Yeah, I mean,
yeah.
it's not a lot. I mean, it's all just in one situation, one location at the moment, isn't it? But there was some interesting bits later on, that sort of gravity bits. Um, but he sort of like sorts himself out a bit. She's been quite kind to him, really, like
Well,
offering him the
I
drugs.
this is
And
why I think she's an interesting character
mm,
because she lies in order to get people on her side. So she'll say, "Oh, I've got this backstory. I identify
yeah,
with you, because of this." You know, so she turns up as a geology. I think she is a geologist, but she says that she's from this other company that she's not from, and now she sort of gives him like because she's locked him up in this, in the airlock, and she
yeah,
said, "Well, I was like this because I got quarantined for 6 weeks. It was all bullshit." And she says,
yeah,
"I
yeah.
know
So
how it feels. I know how it feels, but
she's
but
sort of
but
sympathising with him, but not
but
truthfully,
but she
sort of.
also she says that." She kind of diagnoses him as like PTSD and that he needs pharma to to help him with that, because
Yeah,
PTSD is a very bad thing
yeah.
to have.
They can cure it with pills now, which is
Yeah, or a
obsolete.
patch. Yeah,
Or patch, yeah, fair enough. Um, but he's still he feels better after this pill, obviously. But he still wants to leave. He basically says, I need to leave this station. I need to get off. If you give me the little escape thing, you know, um,
kind of makes you wonder why I hasn't done it previous.
yeah. So there's a few big mysteries why he's going on, why he's having these, because he's having sort of visions, but they're not very clear. It's sort of him freaking
Yeah, he's
out, and
having hallucinations and he's having
um,
flashbacks to a
that's right,
traumatic
yeah,
event that's made him PTSD.
yeah. But we don't know what that is, and it's almost like he doesn't seem to know what that is either. Really, it's a bit weird. But he says he'll help her get these rock samples if
Yeah.
she lets him leave, and she kind of says, all right. And so she lets him out. And he tells her about this hidden, there's some hidden area, not hidden area, but like off
So it's
limits
not just
area.
rock samples, is it? It's a new isotope.
Oh, yeah, some kind of unidentified
This is
element.
why it's
Yeah,
important. It's not just it's not just a rock sample. It's
yeah.
a brand new isotope that is
Mm.
in this field. So yeah,
But it doesn't say where they got these rock samples from, does it?
yeah. I was kind of wondering that. I mean, is it in the shit around the beacon or
Yeah, because there must be a planet nearby, but it doesn't say. I mean, obviously the Solomon guy went somewhere to get them, but it doesn't say
yeah,
where he went or how he got there. Or
yeah?
so
That's another
I was
thing.
waiting for
Yeah,
all this. So there's a few kind of like unanswered questions straight away.
yeah.
Um, but basically, they find this room, and she's like, "Oh," and they're basically just like lumps of coal with blue glowing stuff in them. Fair enough, would be glowing, wouldn't it? And then there's like an alert or something, and there's a ship incoming, but it can't be the ship she was expecting because it's here too early, I think.
Also,
And
it's a very small sort of like
yeah,
shuttle type, isn't it? It's not.
so yeah, I'm
Yeah.
not quite sure why they didn't see that coming before. You would have thought they'd have had some kind of, I don't know. but basically they get boarded. They try to stop these people from coming on board, but they send it over. They sort of override the sort of doodahs or whatever, and sort of sort of break in. And that's the end. Um, Weirdly, that seems right at the beginning as well. That was sort of, I think that's actually the first brief scene you see, and then it says, a couple of
Yeah,
hours
yeah,
later.
yeah. It's a flashback, and
Not,
then you get
not
yeah.
why they did that. And that's the end of the first episode. So they're basically waiting for these people to break on the ship. So yeah, straight away we're like, we don't really know who she is, but she seems all right. She doesn't seem like a total arsehole. She could have just
No,
locked him up in that airlock and killed him. Um, he's obviously lying, but he obviously seems fucked up as well. It doesn't seem like an act,
no, no.
and
He's
then we,
definitely got PTS. I mean, just from the fact that he's having like uncontrollable rage
yeah,
over very small things,
bloody men,
PTSD. Um, she's lying because
yeah,
her AI Harmony says, so you've told him this story, and she goes, well, what did I say? Was it section, whatever,
that's right, yeah, because he asks her later on, doesn't he? He says, "What section did you say you were
91?
from?" Yeah, and she goes, "Oh no, actually, it was this one." And he's like, "It's like a test to see whether
Yeah,
he was telling the truth." So yeah, I noticed that as well. Um, so that's the end of that episode, and then it sort of carries on straight away in episode two. So they get boarded.
yeah. I
Um,
didn't like the people that boarded, and I was glad at the end of
yeah,
the episode.
there wasn't. No, I didn't like any of them at all. I must say, it was kind of like, and I mean, they weren't. They're
They weren't nice
there's no
people, but
spoilers
I mean,
really.
it was.
They're not
It,
in it. This is the only episode they're in. It looks like.
Yeah, I mean, I think it was part of the world building because they come from a planet on the far reaches of the universe, and it's a
Right.
dangerous place.
Right.
And they had something like 8 million people on the planet or something, and they were doing something out there, and they had a government and all the rest of it, but they didn't. They relied on um, deliveries of food and this and that from the outer reaches or the inner reaches, and that supply got fucked up, and they didn't get the food, and they ended up like killing and eating each other.
Yeah. Is that to do with these people?
Yeah,
Oh, is
that's
it?
that's how their planet got destroyed because
Oh,
they
so they're
weren't
all kind
getting.
of like scavenger
You see,
types. Yeah.
you can't have like colonies out there like that rely on food from other places.
Yeah.
You need to have your own food supply.
But
It's
yeah, it didn't really explain because it was quite sort of one of those colonies. I mean, this is jumping ahead. You find this out later, sort of later on from the people who board. But yeah, there's various human colonies, and I think it doesn't really say when the time period is, but I think she says something like 200 years ago we used to send information via data, but now we put it in boxes, so they ship information sort of in, you know,
yeah, but they were
in,
completely reliant on
yeah,
food
yes,
from and water from another
and
planet.
yeah, there was like a news report or something they saw, wasn't there, or a file, and it said the devastation caused at this colony. It was like 6 million people, and for some reason the beacon malfunctioned, a different beacon.
So this is another thread. Why
Yeah,
are the beacons malfunctioning? Because
yeah,
obviously this one is because it
yeah,
didn't warn this other spaceship
yeah.
from
So,
avoiding it.
so trying to keep people away, and then the other one malfunctioned, so the fuel supplies didn't get in, and it left them without fuel and food or whatever for a year, and it all went to shit. Like it just went totally. They all went tonto on each other.
It
But
kind of, I think they were trying to allude to because they had one of the characters of this team seemed to have like a Russian or some kind of Eastern European
yeah,
accent. It looked like a man, but it was a woman,
it was a woman. Yeah,
and she was an animal. She
yeah. She
wanted to
seemed
kill and eat people, and I think they were trying to allude to when in Russia when everything sort of went to tits up, that there was like gulags that didn't have a supply of food, and people started to eat each other.
Oh,
Yeah,
didn't know that.
yeah.
I mean,
Lenin.
I saw
Was it
that in this.
Lenin?
Yeah, 'cause they talked about because and I think they identified this woman when she came on board, and they were like because of her mass or something. She looks like she's probably from one of the mining camps on something or other, and those people had a really bad time. And I think
Yeah.
she even does say later on that woman says we should just kill this guy. It's loads of protein or something, but she says it in a foreign language, and someone translates for her.
If
So yeah,
anyone
they are alluding.
Russian with Russian history knowledge stumbles across this video, please let us know. But I think there was some in the past. There was a really bad point in Russian history where there was a gulag and they ran out of food. I think it was in Siberia or someplace, and they ended up eating each other because it was just that was what they had to do to
Yeah,
survive, basically. Yeah. So
yeah, I suppose you're just saying
I
what would
mean, it seemed a bit
it's
out
just
of ordinary to have a person there who, with you know, East European accent who
was it
wanted
East
to eat.
European? I wasn't quite sure. It seemed like a totally different language. I know what you mean though, but
Yeah,
yeah, they were just alluded to the fact that with no food, people ended up eating each other and it all went to shit. But so she's one character that comes on this ship, and there's some baldy bearded captain arsehole,
yeah,
just a dick, just a pretty generic
I,
dick.
I, I totally labelled him as a cunt straight away.
Yeah, and he was
Yeah,
pretty horrible to everyone, including his own people. There's some tech dude who's got some sort of like hacking thing, which is like almost like an organic, like a
yeah, they're
fucking
all plugging
bit of,
themselves
bit of
in, aren't
plugging
they?
themselves in,
Yeah,
bit of an intestine sort of thing, look like. So they basically cut. First thing he does is takes over the ship, the beacon's AI, which is obviously fucked anyway. Um, and then they're sort of Lena Headey's sort of hiding. Halen's still locked in the airlock at this point, sort of hiding. So they're basically sort of wandering around. There's a young lad called Chick. Don't know why, and his mum's also there. It looks like I think it's his mum.
it is his mum. Yeah,
Um, and like he's trying to impress the captain boss dickhead guy.
yeah. I didn't like
Uh,
any of these
no,
people.
I didn't. I thought they were all fucking awful.
I mean, I felt like it was just put in to make tension. Sort of. It wasn't really there for the story. They just sort of turned up, and were like a conflict for
Yeah,
the
it
for the
wasn't much of a
leads.
conflict, was it? I mean, it wasn't done greatly. I mean, they sort of didn't really. They were a bit shit, weren't they? Really?
I mean, I was frightened of them. I thought they were a threat.
Yeah,
Like especially the East European eating
yeah.
humans woman and
Wasn't quite sure
the
what they
bald
really were after,
guy
though, was
because
it? You know?
because the bald guy seemed unhinged.
Yeah, he was just
Um,
like beating up the young kid all the time, shouting at the mum
and
a
the
lot.
kid just seemed like completely confused and
Yeah,
of no consequence, but of it could have been a danger because he's got some kind of like weird idea of impressing the bald wanker guy,
yeah,
and
and
then you've got
his mum's saying to him, "Look, you don't need to impress that guy," and he's like, "I do," sort of shit. So him and his mum aren't getting on. Is there anyone
yeah.
else? I think that's it. I think there might just be the four of them.
I couldn't think of anybody else.
No, I don't think there
No.
is. There's just four of them, so they're a bit of a shit fucking crew, really. But they're basically, we're not really quite sure why they're there to steal stuff, but we're not sure what stuff. I don't know if
They
they're after the
wanted
rock sample
cubics, which
qubits,
I
which is
guess
credit
is
money or something.
yeah.
I think Halen says, Halen says, I know where they are. If you let me out, I'll show you
I'm
where
gonna
they
go
are.
with Halen because that's like the gas.
Yeah, Halon. Yeah. So basically, they let him out because he says, I'll show you where they are, but if you don't let me out, you'll find them, but it'll take you fucking hours. And there's another ship on the way or something like that. And they're like, okay, they let him out, but he manages to give them a slip and sort of disappears inside a panel inside the wall because that's a thing in spaceships, obviously. Just literally just pulls this panel, it jumps in, closes it, and they're like, "Damn, he's gone."
Yeah,
Just fucking going
invisible.
after him. Um, yeah, there's sort of more scenes with the mum and the son, and I think that's there's some conversation about the colonies, like you talk about, about things going to shit and they're all starving. It doesn't explain who's in, if who's in charge of the colonies. Like, are they still ruled based from Earth? Are they being supplied
I
from
think
Earth?
they've
It
been
doesn't really.
abandoned. That's
Yeah.
what it seemed like.
But there's a bit where Halen and he manages to catch up back with Asta, Lena Headey, and he's got, I'll get some weapons, but he's got this like suitcase, but he is the weapon apparently. I didn't notice this on the first time around. He plugs himself into the suitcase and it says charging. But
Yeah, he's
so
got
what?
implants that he
Yeah.
needs to charge up to become a super soldier,
So
which
is
is
that what it is?
handy.
I was going to say, yeah, we could have told us that
I mean, he
beforehand.
could he could have been like, a toilet cleaner or something, but
Yeah, because it
luckily he's
wasn't explained. Where's he come from? It still, it doesn't explain actually in this
uh,
episode. It still doesn't explain who he is. Um, the baldy boss, bearded boss bastard, just did that out of
that's
nowhere.
great. It's like
Yeah,
rapping, man.
yeah, there's a bit of rap there. Beats up the mum, gives the mum a little push or something. He's just being a dick because she's like, you need to calm down, and he's like, fuck you. It was all a bit generic sort of thing. But then Halen and Asta managed to split the team up, split the boarding team up. So the mum and the son are separated in one compartment, and the bored bastard and the hacker
Yeah,
guy,
there's some kind of like
in
metal
the
shield thing that they
yeah,
sort
just
out. I
so
think
they
the
sort of
AI Harmony sorted that out. Yeah.
yeah, they sort of separate them out. So the mum and the son are still arguing. He accuses her of killing millions of people. So she's obviously, you know, what's that all about? She's involved in something. She's a doctor, I think. But he's like, how many
Well,
people
she
have
was
you
like
killed?
like an MP or something, wasn't she? Like a
Well, maybe, yeah.
ministerial, you know, a politician.
Really? I
Yeah,
didn't
that's what
know
I
that.
got from it. She was a politician. She was in charge of this colony. It all got fucked, and she couldn't do anything to stop
Yeah.
millions of people dying. Her son blames her. Blah blah blah. And
Pulls a
it's
gun on her twice, actually, but he pulls a gun on her, yeah, in this point. She's like, don't put that gun at me. Yeah, so he's a dick as well.
he's a total
Put
dick.
a gun on
Yeah,
your
he's
mum.
got no excuse to pull a gun on his mother.
So when they're separated off, the mum is basically like, okay, this geezer was talking about rocks, so we need to find out what these rocks are. So we need to find the rocks or some shit. And Asta manages to sort of hack in to the comms, says to the mum, look, we can help you, sort of thing, blah, 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 trying to sort of split them up. Fair enough. But she kind of says no. She kind of says, if I was you, I would hide. She says to Asta. Um, and then Halen decides, right, now it's time for action. So
Yeah,
he has a fight with the East European Russian eating people woman. Uh, Quite a vicious fight. Um, Beats the living shit out of her. I think he kills her. He
yeah,
does
he
kill her,
kills
doesn't
her.
he? Yeah, he
Yeah,
kills her. But there's some interesting sort of physics bits where there's like a sort of tunnel going through the beacon, and as you go down the tunnel, gravity sort of disappears. So you just sort of end up
yeah.
floating.
I didn't know why they put that in, to be honest.
I mean, I was interesting because I was sort of interested in that because it reminded me of like The Expanse, which we both liked.
Mm.
And in The Expanse, like the sort of realistic physics was really part of that
Yeah, there
show.
was a bit where the girl in the Expanse, she was on her own, and she was trapped in a ship, and she had to sort of like reroute things to get in control of it, and then a helmet sort of rolled backwards and stuff when she was. Yeah, it was all good.
Yeah,
Yeah,
there was loads of good bits in that show, like when the people, like if they're having a gunfight on the ship because there's no gravity on the ships, or there is in certain sections, but there's certain sections there isn't. So they're all like magnetic boots, you know what I mean? So that it's interesting, like when you shoot someone and kill them, they don't fall to the floor. They just
sort
they
of
just
float
they
around.
just float
Yeah,
like palm trees. And like it's so you see this battleground sort of thing, and there's just like dozens of people just sort of standing up like that, and it's really interesting. It's like this is exactly what would happen.
Mm.
You would just sort of so that sort of attention to detail was great, and I thought maybe that was something like this, but it didn't really quite explain it. Like it must be an
It
artificial
just kind
gravity
of
on
made
Earth.
people live longer than they should have done it, because if they dropped to the floor, they would have been dead.
Yeah,
But now
it
they're
didn't
still
explain.
alive
Yeah,
because they've been suspended.
it didn't
Yeah.
sort of explain the mechanism for it. It was, but I suppose it was just for that detailing, but it didn't really explain it. But it was interesting. It'd be like an interesting way to how do you fight someone like that. And so they were doing a bit of all that. It was okay, but he ends up killing an iron bar to the face, which I think fair enough. That'll do it. Um, he also takes out the hacker guy, which is quite good because he seemed like a dick as well.
Yeah.
Literally just runs past him and goes thwack in his face with a fist, and he's just dead. So that was good. Um, so yeah, Asta and the mum are sort of helping each other out, and then I think she offers her a deal, doesn't she? Asta
Yeah,
offers
there's a
the mum
deal
a
which
deal.
I'll give you all these qubits to pay for you and your son to get away,
Yeah,
and I'll
and
keep the rocks.
I
Yeah,
think she says that Halen has to go with them or something because he
that's
wants to
right.
go off.
Yeah,
So she's like, okay, fine. She's letting him go. Um,
but
so
this, I think at this point now she doesn't think Halen's going to be very much use to her, because
yeah,
yeah, because he's
yeah,
a
she
little
wants
bit
him out.
mental.
Even though she seems to be sort of sympathetic towards him, he's still unknown quantity, and like she's
So
not.
is she. She's
Yeah,
unknown. Yeah.
absolutely. Um, so there's a. I've got Asta locked in Moon. I don't know what that means. Um, Asta's locked in the room, and the boss guy, big bald boss guy, is trying to shoot through the door, and he's like, "You might as well come out because I'm just going to shoot my way through," but he can't shoot his way through. Um, Mum and son are still arguing, and he ends up pulling a gun on her and shooting her dead.
What a wanker.
Kills his mum dead, and he doesn't seem that bothered by it either.
No. He
These
sounds like
rocks,
it's like a
yeah,
psychopath, the
yeah,
kid.
sounds like a
Yeah.
total dick. These rocks. Every time Halen gets close to these rocks, he's having one of his visions. So there's something going on there we don't know about yet. If anyone's read the story, don't tell us. But she ends up, Asta ends up stabbing the boss guy. They sort of have
Yeah.
a little fight, and he goes for it, but he doesn't realize she's got a knife or something. She just fucking shivs him a few times, and like, yeah, puts pay to that dickhead. So at this point, they're all dead, apart from the kid who just gets on the ship, the boarding ship, and goes. I was like, okay, fine.
I hope he doesn't come back.
Yeah, I mean, he must do, but because it seems a whole pointless waste, this whole episode. Otherwise, maybe it is a pointless waste. Maybe it's not a very good show. We'll talk about that
We
in a minute.
don't know, but I
But
mean, it could be just a bit of world building to explain how
yeah,
planets on the outer reach have been fucked up by lack of. Uh, so we know that the computer system's been fucked up on the beacon.
yeah.
We don't know why that
We
is
don't know why. Don't know
happening.
who's doing it.
We know
But
the AI was damaged because it had a dent in the back of it, and Harmony, the AI, talked to it
yeah,
and tried to fix it so it could actually speak, because it was doing like bebop language before. And
mm,
it, so Harmony, the AI, fixed it. Also, the AI Harmony went into its brain and had a look and
yeah.
sorted it out a little bit. So we don't know
Put
exactly
it in its
why.
place. Yeah, because it was being a bit uppity, wasn't it?
It was being weird.
AI. Yeah, it
Yeah,
was
it was
being
being
weird, and
like,
so the Harmony AI is like, "Don't insult me.
yeah,
You need
Dave,
to
I can't
watch your
allow you to do that,
yeah,
Dave.
watch. You need to watch your behaviour." That sort of
Yeah,
thing. Puts him in his place, and he goes, "Oh, okay." Pretty much.
yeah. So obviously there's problems with the beacons not performing properly.
Yeah, not just this one. There's the other one that caused all
Yeah,
these deaths.
and obviously the getting supplies to the outer reaches is fucked up. So something's going on there. Something's going on with the beacon AI, and we don't know what that is.
We don't know what the rocks are or where they come
We
from,
don't know
whatever.
what the rocks
Yeah,
are. We don't know Halen's backstory because he's got PTSD from
no,
something, and we don't know about Asta's background because she's quite
no,
good at lying and
yeah.
making up backgrounds to influence people to.
So she kind of seems like a spy or something,
Yeah,
sort of. But again, she's kind of seems quite nice. She was quite nice to him and seemed very
she seems
human.
fairly sensible.
Yeah,
Yeah,
she didn't seem that calculating. I mean, she was obviously lying,
yeah,
but
she's not
like
like pure evil or anything. So,
no, yeah. So
so
it was
what we're
interesting.
left at the end of we want to know about the isotopes. We want to know why they're so valuable. We want to know why the computer systems are fucking up. We want to know the backgrounds of Halen and Asta. I think that's about it.
Yeah,
Oh, the dark energy. We want to know why
the
that
dark
is a
matter.
thing.
Yeah. So
Um,
there's a few things. So that's two episodes. I think the next
mm.
one is out on Sunday or something.
Oh,
So
Solomon's murder. We want to
oh, and
know about
Solomon's
that.
murder because the Beacon AI said that Halen murdered him, but he kind of was like, oh, it's not. He
It's
didn't
not as
deny it,
clear
but
cut as that.
yeah,
Yeah.
he didn't deny it. But so and in the end, actually, Halen doesn't leave, does he? He stays with Asta. He says he doesn't want to be
So
alone.
yeah, at the end of the episode, we've got Asta and Halen together, and they seem to trust each other, kind of now.
Sort of, yeah. There was a bit of a moment there. I thought they might have a kiss. I thought that was a bit early for that to happen.
Yeah,
But, but I don't know. What did you think then
I
overall?
I enjoyed it. Yeah, I'm
Yeah,
waiting. I mean, it was thrilling. It got your attention, sort of thing. So I didn't like anybody from the ship that, like the piracy ship. I didn't
no,
like anybody on that, so I'm glad they're all
they
dead.
weren't very fleshed out sort of characters anyway,
Yeah.
were they? We didn't. I mean, I still wasn't quite sure where they
I
came
didn't like
from.
the young boy. I know he's
No, he was
escaped. I hope he
horrible.
doesn't come back because I couldn't care less. But
I can't see him being much of a threat to anyone, though. That's the thing.
no,
Apart from his
yeah.
mum, bastard, pull a gun on your
I
mum.
think probably
I'd
Halen
take
could
him.
like kill him quite.
And has to easily take that twat.
Mm.
Um, so, but I don't know whether maybe he'll try and come back for some reason. I don't know. I don't know the story. Haven't read the story at all. Um, I thought it was. I thought it was all right. I think it was a bit. You know, it's still a bit confusing. I think we could have done a bit more backstory about like you know who the colonies. Who's in charge of the colonies? How many colonies are there? Is there just two? Are they all fucked now, or is
Yeah,
there
why
like
is dark matter
hundreds
such a
of them?
problem?
Why is that matter a problem? Yeah, why are the beacons there at all? You
Yeah.
know, like, who fucking built them? It fucking makes no sense. What and like obviously, so yeah, we need to find out that.
Mm.
Which I hope we will. I mean, there's loads there to explore. I hope we get all those answers.
Well, I like Lena Headey.
I like Lena Headey. I think she's really good. I thought Halen's good.
I thought it was
Yeah,
well acted. Yeah, by those two. Um, quite like the AI Harmony. She seemed nice.
yeah.
Yeah.
It was all right. I would say
Mm.
I wasn't super majorly impressed by it, but there's loads to sort of get into. Do you know what I mean?
Mm.
I think if it's
The
difficult.
isotope's obviously a big thing. I don't know,
Yeah,
it's maybe like some super
yeah.
magical,
It's
you know.
interesting, like because like Silo, is based in like a cylinder cut off from the outside world, and so is this. I mean,
Mm.
it's almost like a sort of literary device to sort of just have
Well, it is a
a
literary
couple of
device, yeah.
a couple
I
of
mean,
characters.
when you start off with the two characters, Asta and Halen, he's not acting, so that's conflict. He's not
Mm,
acting right.
yeah,
He's got explosive rage, and that's not normal. But then you sort of think, oh, maybe he's because he's on, an isolated situation that he's not really used to dealing with not other human beings,
yeah. Or is there more to it? Is it
yeah, then
something
he's got
else?
PTSD, so
Yeah.
that's a conflict.
Where did he get that from? Did he get that from like
Yeah,
he's been a past soldier, or is it something that's happened recently and his memory's been fucked with?
but But
like
you would
why the
need,
orcs making him react. You know, like
so you would need those two characters to sort of gel, and they've gelled over getting rid of the space pirates who are
mm.
another conflict. So yeah, I
And there's
mean
another team
it's
on the
by the
way.
book sort of thriller stuff. Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
and there's still this extraction team on the way,
Mm.
which
Mm.
also I thought it's weird they're coming quite soon after she's just got there.
Yeah,
Why didn't she just go with that ship in the first place, and they could just drop her off and wait for her? You know, why did she have to go on the other ship?
yeah.
Doesn't hopefully it'll explain all that.
And why don't ships have like some kind of sensor to tell them that they're going into dark matter if it's such a fucking big deal?
You wouldn't travel all that way just to wait and see whether a light on a spaceship is red or white, which is what this thing was. It's like if it's red, means move away. Like you would know in advance. Do you know what I
Well, you'd
mean?
have sensors and shit on your ship. I mean, if
Yeah.
you're like a spacefaring,
Or the beacon would have told you like fucking a
oh, if you
million
know
miles.
dark matter is such a big fucking deal, wouldn't you have some kind of
Yeah,
alarm on your ship to show you where these pockets are
yeah.
before,
They
like, driving a £5 billion worth of machine into it, you
yeah,
know?
yeah,
And I mean, and also is if it's a lighthouse and it's actually light, that shit's not going to fly
yeah. No, it don't work.
in
Yeah, they
space.
would have just broadcast a thing saying, "Don't come here at the moment. There's dark matter about.
Yeah, they've
Give it a
already done
couple
it
of
on
days."
Star Trek.
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. So I don't know why they couldn't just radio ahead. So it didn't. It hasn't
A
explained that.
beacon
Maybe,
on all subspace
yeah,
channels is what you
exactly.
would do.
Yeah, exactly. I don't know. I mean, it doesn't explain it. Maybe they will explain it because you think, oh, well, there's dark matter here today, but they won't be here tomorrow. It'll be like the weather forecast, you
Yeah,
know. So
who knows?
we'll see. So I enjoyed it. I like Lena Headey. There's stuff to be uncovered. I hope it does
Yeah,
uncover it. And like I say, this episode was a bit weird because all these people who were a bit shit turned up and then got killed. It didn't
yeah,
it didn't really add to much, but I thought it was all right.
yeah. Well, it was a device to get Asta and Halen to be friends, isn't it?
Yeah.
So
Friends.
friends,
Space friends.
space friends. Yeah,
Yeah.
we'll
But
leave
yeah,
it there then.
we'll leave it there. Yeah, we'll do the next one next week, episode 3. Perhaps we'll do one a week from now on.
Yeah, that'd be cool.
See what goes on. Yeah. So
Yeah,
if anyone else liked it or didn't like it, let us know if we
yeah,
got that totally wrong. Or if you're offended, if you currently live in a Russian gulag and you're offended by anything Michelle has said, then let us know.
yeah. That'd be nice. I
Yeah.
like Russian people.
Yeah, that's cool. Nice.
Bye then.
See you then. Bye.
Bye.